in a weaker, shall we say, a weaker Eastern Conference. When you think about it, who's in the East right now that you're going, oh my God, I got a fear for them? Is it the
But
Knicks now? It's not
it,
Philly.
well,
Who is it?
it's less fear and more. Before you were going 100 miles an hour in the left lane, and now you're puttering along at 60 in the middle lane, which means you're easier to pass. So all of a sudden, Orlando, Atlanta, teams you didn't view as threats last year are right now building teams that are going to be uh, competitive, if not better than you. Because again, Max, let's put it on paper right now. Maybe more can happen, but the reality of the math is they got themselves under that second apron by about $4.5 million or whatever it is. They got a ways to go if they want to get under the first apron too. Question is, which direction do they go? If you listen to the press conferences from Brad Stevens, and even more telling, I thought Mike Zarin on Thursday night, the general vibe is we're gonna have to get it done with what we've got here. And at that moment, and we don't know what's going to happen in free agency with the bigs. They don't have a center. I mean, they do, but his name is Nemish Keita. Right now, if this is what you're rolling out there, and you can't spend more money to either retain Luke Cornett or Al Horford, both of whom are going to demand more than you have to offer right now, you have to trade more assets. You have to trade more players just to sign one of those guys and have a center. But if you, let's just say for a hypothetical, if you don't sign anybody else and just live with what you have here and maybe grab a vet minimum guy to plug a hole here along the way, which is about what you have left to play with, you're looking at a starting lineup of Nemish Keita at center, either George Niang or Xavier Tillman at the 4, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Anthony Simons and or Peyton Pritchard, with a bench that has either Pritchard or Simons, Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh. That, Max, is a team that could really go in a direction we would not have expected this franchise could go, mainly because Jason Tatum's not there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that is true.
That team that
When,
could be
when
anywhere from 25 to 45 wins. You have no
well,
idea.
you're in there, and I think you're exactly right with this team on where you look at what can be projected. Um, are they a playoff team? Will they
Right.
will they make the playoff? Will they getting what is their what's their window? What's their absolute ceiling for
Yeah.
next year? What are we looking at making the playoffs? Because as you said, Sean Grandy, my broadcast partner on radio, says one thing, and I think it's really true. All those teams you beat the hell out of over the last couple of years, and put like my kid would say back in the
They're
day,
coming.
they no, days are coming. Days are coming for you. And they're thinking right now, yeah, okay, all right, Celtics. We know what you did. How about the Charlotte team, who's gotten much better, who you whipped up on the last couple of years. You feasted on. And you remember Tatum's line when he said,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you know what? Even on a Monday night with no TV or whatever it is, look, I'm gonna go out and play against a team like Charlotte. That's bulletin board material in itself.
Oh yeah.
So I think there's a lot of angst in Celtics Nation right now. I'm hearing it from a lot of people, but that's the way the cookie is crumbled.
Yeah.
And with Jason Tatum being out, it's going to do. I think the silver lining to me is looking at a guy like Baylor Shireman and seeing what he can become with quality minutes, because you're gonna spoon feed him. You're gonna force feed him right now with minutes and opportunities just to see if a guy like Cedric Maxwell says something like John Havlicek, Johnny Havlicek. So you will get a chance to see that.
Yeah, no doubt. And so that's kind of what it comes back to. You mentioned Shireman and there's some promise there, but I think there's probably a ceiling on how far you can go there. That I think what's hurting them most right now is, you know, they really had a couple of swings there in those drafts in 20 and 21 back when Danny was in charge to have, brought in some younger talent because they did have the picks there with Romeo. I'm sorry, it was 19 and 20 when they took Romeo and Neesmith. And I know that seems like a long time ago, but really that was their last chance to uh cash in on premium assets, which is
And
lottery.
look what happened with Neesmith.
And that was great. But Neesmith got drafted into a team that was competitive and he never developed. But they didn't get a hit there on one of those guys where they didn't grab their max. And again, it's hard. It's hard. Anytime you get to the middle of the draft and onward, it's a crapshoot. But they didn't get a player that they could control and have cheaply to come up behind them. They do have Peyton Pritchard, which was a hit, and he's going to be counted on a bit. You're going to hope you get something out of Shireman, but picks in the late 20s, 30, where they picked Shireman last year, the expectation for those guys is usually rotation player. That's not going to save you. It's where's the talent coming from that's going to come up? Like, because you're not talking about those guys are nice when you're talking about them as your seventh or eighth guy, but you're trying to replace Holiday, Horford, Porzingis. These are all-star caliber players. Where's that coming from right now from them, Max? Because they don't they might need to experience some pain and fall into the lottery, or there's two ways you experience pain. One is it happens naturally because you're not that good and the NBA is going to reward you by giving you a high draft pick, or you got to trade somebody and get high draft picks or young players because they're not just going to Brad's not going to pluck them out of thin air, right? How do you get
Well,
them?
no, that's not going to happen. But I understand what you're saying because essentially that's what I was.